God's plan, your love story. Welcome to Blueprint for Two.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 1 of Blueprint for Two.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to call it Built for Two. So
No.
Blueprint for Two.
Blueprint for Two.
And so this is going to be focused on, singleness, dating, marriage, all stages of relationships, really.
Yeah.
That's the goal. And so, yeah, I mean, this is something that God put into Alicia's heart.
I can't say our hearts.
Because he put it in your heart.
He did.
Okay.
And then I shared it with you.
Uh-huh.
And we're here now.
But where did it start?
In my heart.
Okay, there you go. So, I'm Pedro.
And I'm Alicia.
We're the Menas.
Yeah.
That was a little whack, but whatever.
That was cute. I like that.
And so, yeah, this is, like I said, this is episode 1. And we kind of just want to start with how we started.
Right.
Right? And we'll kind of go from there.
Who we are.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I start telling the story?
You can tell your version.
So, Pedro and I met at a work function. And this was if you're in Florida.
This was December 4th, 2019 that we met.
Look at you with these dates. Listen, that is the most attractive thing. Come on, Jesus. Anyways, so we met on December 4th, 2019 at a Morton's Steakhouse.
In West Palm Beach?
In West Palm Beach. And we were attending a work function. Neither of us knew each other. And so, I think I worked for a company that, had issues with the management company he was working for. And so we kind of talked, and I didn't really pay him no mind. At that first conversation, towards the end of the event, his boss came up to me, or I think I went to talk to his boss because I didn't really know anyone at the event. And since we had already spoken, I said, well, I kind of feel comfortable making more conversation with him. So I did. And then, Pedro just walks out of nowhere.
So, yes, I feel like, I don't know.
What?
I feel like the story could have been started better.
Okay, go ahead. You start it your way.
So to set the background, so she did, say we met at a Morton Steakhouse in West Palm Beach. And so I was working for a property management company at the time, as an assistant manager. She was working as marketing for a roofing company at that time, right? So she's correct. Her roofing company did do a job on my property that we were not necessarily happy with, and her coworker worked something in relations for that roofing company.
She was a business development manager.
She was
I was
business
the coordinator.
development. There we go.
I was the marketing coordinator.
So she recognized when my boss and I said what property we worked at. She was like, "Oh, I got to go talk to these guys and mend the relationship between our companies."
Oh yeah, I skipped that part.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And that's what led us to talk initially.
Right. Sorry, I totally skipped over that part.
You did. That's why.
My bad.
And then so yeah, she. After that conversation.
Did you think anything?
No.
I didn't even finish my sentence.
But I already know where you're going with it.
Okay. I was gonna ask you.
Did you think anything of me?
No.
Okay.
Well, I just said it. I didn't pay you any mind in the first conversation.
So after us 4 finished talking, I went around, because it was like a Christmas party, and saying hi to everybody that I knew around the restaurant, because it, a bunch of different vendors and managers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so made my way around the restaurant, came back to my boss, who was at that point talking to Alicia.
My wife.
Right.
It just sounds better.
Okay.
My wife.
Sure.
So yeah, so I'm talking with him, and Pedro again, like he said, pops up like out of nowhere, and so his boss was like, "Hey, this is Pedro, and he leads worship at his church." It's like, "Oh, hi, Pedro." And I think we had like a good 2-hour conversation.
Yeah.
May have been a little longer. It feels like it would took forever. So we met there, and you know us women, we like to have like our little checklist of things that we want in a man. And so my checklist honestly was not long. My things were, God, give me a husband with light eyes. He's got to be Puerto Rican. He's got to love you above all things. And and I said, Lord, he can't have no hair on his chest. Those were my 4.
You don't need to be putting that out to people.
Anyways, and so I'm like checking the things off my list as we're having our conversation. We got into talking about worship. We got into talking about his church, and he was like, I don't like to brag or to boast, but, I know the Lord sometimes will use me prophetically. And I said, oh, snap, we dropped the prophetic now. There's not a lot of people that talk about the prophetic. And so that also triggered like, oh, wow. So I feel like we're getting to the end of our conversation, and he hasn't asked me for my number yet. So I said, I'm not going to let this man leave. This guy that I see is like perfect in my eyes. I said, I'm not going to let him leave without getting his number.
So, she didn't give me a chance.
That's what you say.
That's what you did.
But.
It's the truth. I felt like our conversation was going to go on for a little bit more.
Okay.
And
I felt like it was coming to an end because your coworkers were like rushing you out.
And I kept showing them away.
You're right.
Whatever.
You're right. I appreciate that.
Mm.
I do. But it shows both of our characters right there. That snippet shows both of our characters.
Impatience.
You take forever.
No, I don't.
Baby, some things. You like...
Like what?
I don't know how to call it. But you just take your sweet time.
I do take my time.
To do some things.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things, not everything. You take your time. And so, whatever. Anyway, so I asked him.
She didn't give me a chance to ask her for her number.
So, but hold on. This is how I asked you for your number. I was like, because at this point I know that he sings. I know he leads worship. And so I was like, do you sing? Like, do you go to other churches and sing? He goes, yeah, I do. I said, oh, okay. So.
And this is where she lied.
Time out though. Do you go to other churches to sing?
I have. Not on like my
I feel
own.
Like you fibbed too.
Nah. I definitely did not, because I have gone to other churches to sing.
Okay. Not at the time I've known you though.
Because we go to the same church.
I know, but, well, I mean, we only dated for a little bit, but... Anyways, so... He's like, yeah, I do. I said, oh, okay. I said, well, then let me get your number. So I can give it to my pastor. And...
Pastor didn't get it till like 8 months later. Lied to get my number. The shame.
So... Yeah, so I got his number. I said, I'll give it to my pastor so you can come lead worship at our church one day. And, yeah, so we got each other's number. Oh, so now he's taking down my number. Sorry, I feel like we told this story so many times and now it's like I forget it. So he's taking down my number. He asked me for my first and last name. Y'all, I was a brave person. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. So he's writing down my first name. He's like, oh, what's your last name? I was like, oh, Why'd you ask for my last name?
Because that's how you save people on your phone.
I don't save people with their last name.
You know how many Brian's I got on my phone?
How many Alicias did you
I
have
got
on
one.
your phone?
I got one.
Thank you. So, I didn't like that he asked me for my last name because I don't like my maiden last name. So I gave him.
Why don't you like it?
Because it's very American, very white. Yo soy boricua para que tú lo sepas. And I wanted because I have it now. I wanted a very Spanish last name. I want you, when you see my name, I know she's Spanish. And so I told Pedro, I said, I'm gonna give it to you, but just know I can't wait to get married so I can change my last name. I don't know. Oh, you were, what did you say?
I was like, I think I can help you with that.
Yeah. You said something like that. And so I was like, oh, okay. So that was our first conversation. We went on our first date. Do you want me to not? Okay.
No, we can talk about the first date. But I want to say, like, I met her, and I instantly knew that she was going to be my wife. Like, that was it.
What, gave it away? What?
There was nothing that gave it away.
Or, like, what was going through your mind?
I don't know. It was like a click. Like a literal, like, click. And I was like, I'm done trying to meet other women. I'm done trying to date around. And, like, I was like, this is it. I'm done. And I was real mad at God. And I was like, seriously? I am enjoying being single.
Living in your prime.
And now you're going to give me my wife? Literally, like, all this conversation happened in my head, me and God, same night. I knew you were going to be my wife, but also I was like, God, seriously? Your timing, although I can't complain because, God's timing is perfect, right?
Yes, it is.
So, but yeah, I knew that night that we met that she was going to be my wife. Hands down.
Lucky God.
Yep.
So we went on our first date. He offered to pick me up. I said, heck no. I said, I can drive myself there. You were a stranger.
I was.
You were a stranger. So I said, it's okay. I'll drive there. I'll meet you there. But can I tell you the excitement that I had when I saw you pull up and walk out of your car? I'm like, oh my God. I think I got butterflies in my stomach and everything. I was so excited. I saw you. Oh my God, he showed up. Not that I've ever been stood up on a date, because I've never been stood up. But, yeah.
You say that, and I think about, so the day after we met,
oh yeah.
So I was like really busy that next day, setting up for a meeting and stuff.
I was so mad that you did not text me all day.
Because I was busy working.
What about in the morning when you wake up?
There was no way we were at that good morning level yet. No, ma'am. Mm-mm.
You didn't think like, oh my gosh, wow, that girl was so pretty. Or like, oh my gosh, it was so nice that I got to meet that girl or something. None of that crossed through your head in the morning?
Yeah, but again, I had just met you. I was not about to be like, hey, good morning. We were not there. We were not there yet. She got this fantasy in her head. I don't know what. But that is not what a normal person does. I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong. But yeah, no, like immediately that next day, let's like text a little bit for like a week or two, and then you can start getting good morning texts. But so that next day I was real busy at work, and it's after 5, but I've got my boss and I were setting up for a board meeting, and so it's like 6 o'clock or something, and but I'm still at work, and she texts me, and so I looked at my boss. He's standing next to me. I look at my boss and I'm like, yo, check out who texted me. It's a chick from last night.
So That's what it was, the chick from last night.
Again, you weren't getting the good morning text that next day, so.
Yeah, no, so I was at work and I'm like, this man has not texted me all day. I said, apparently it wasn't a pleasure meeting you. But no, so I think my text went something along the lines of, hey, hope you had a nice day. It was great meeting you last night, or something like that. Something. It's very, very simple, but very, like, to the point. Like, I thought you were going to text me today. Hi, I'm here.
Yep.
Type of thing. So anyways, we go on our first date. And on our first date, I brought it up. I said, I want to get married and have kids.
She brought that up on our first conversation, by the way. Not just the first date.
I talk about kids on the first
Oh,
date?
yes, you did.
Sorry. Not sorry, actually. Yeah, so I was like, I want to get married and have kids. That's what I want. If you want it, cool. And if you don't, it was nice knowing you. We could be friends. But that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was kind of the gist of our conversation. And so, fast forward, not even fast forward like 2 months, 3 months.
No, not even. Jump ahead a couple of weeks. So we met December 4th.
Right.
Right. Jump ahead a couple of weeks. My grandfather passes away.
Yeah.
Right. I'd known Alicia for like 2 weeks at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And so my grandfather passes away, and he was actually leaving back to Puerto Rico the next day. So, you know, they sent the body over to Puerto Rico. We go to Puerto Rico for the funeral and everything, service. And when we go to come back from Puerto Rico, it's like December.
The thing is that your grandfather's body getting to Puerto Rico delayed a lot. They had like it was like a lot of paperwork or something that had to get done.
Right, but I'm talking about how when we came back from Puerto Rico, it was like days away from actual Christmas Day.
Right.
Yeah, and so Alicia's like,
if days. Like,
it
was
max maybe like the
2 days.
20th, the earliest.
Yeah.
And Alicia's like, I got your Christmas shopping, and I was like, what are you doing? You don't even know me.
Yeah.
And yo, she did all my Christmas shopping for me.
I really did.
Which was insane, because I was like, who does that?
Future wife.
Future wife, that's right. And but she, you know, she helped me out a lot there. And December 26th, we officially started dating.
That was another thing. I like we're sharing our story to inspire, to teach, I guess, other couples, right? Not that our process was perfect, but there were things that are kind of uncommon that we did, like me asking you for your number, even though you said I didn't give you a chance. Whatever.
You didn't give me a chance.
But a lot of women nowadays are against making that first move.
And that's okay.
Right, that's okay, but it's also okay to make the first move.
Yes, it is.
Because you may have a guy that's a little more shy, and he doesn't know that you're interested unless you kind of give him a little hint.
I'm gonna be really honest. You can't just give a guy a little hint. You gotta give him just a landing strip, like for an airplane, right? And you got the lights on the wrong way.
It's gotta be in big, bold letters.
Yeah. Guys are stupid. We're retarded. Can I say that?
I don't know.
I said it. Whatever. We're really dumb. So, a girl could give little hints, but a guy, we are dense. We are dense.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, don't be shy.
Right. So I say that to say, like, my expectations with him were very high, I think. To a certain extent, right? Like, I told him, I was like, don't just assume that I'm gonna be your girlfriend. like, you have to ask me because you don't know
I
that
don't think
wanna
that
be
was
your
a
girlfriend."
conversation ever.
Yes, it was. Because I remember exactly where we were in the car.
Where?
We were in your car. We were on our way to your parents' house, and we were at the light of Royal Palm, and where was it that we were living? It was on Royal Palm and Rock Island. There, right there. We were about to make that left onto Rock Island to go to your mom's house, and that was when I said it. I have like these photographic memories. Like I can picture when conversations happen. I don't know.
That conversation never happened.
It's really weird, but yes, it did happen. Yeah, I was like, you're gonna, but you know what? You probably weren't paying attention to me because you half the time don't pay attention to me. But anyways.
Whatever.
Yeah, I was like, don't just assume that I'm gonna be your girlfriend. Like, I need you to ask me to be your girlfriend because you don't know if I want to be your girlfriend. And if this is the last time I'm doing this, if I'm gonna marry you, because at that point we had already communicated to each other that we kind of knew that we were for each other, even though you hadn't asked me to be your girlfriend yet. We just kind of like knew we were on the same page, even though I don't think we had like talked about it, but we both kind of knew. So yeah, so I told him, I was like, you need to ask me to be your girlfriend. So yeah, I spent Christmas evening with them. I spent Christmas Day in the morning I was here, and then I went to his house at night. God, I remember that night, all the women in your house were in the kitchen talking about me. Titiurka, your mom, your
My
sister,
cousins.
your cousins, all the girls, just chit-chatting. Like, I heard my name and I was just sitting on the opposite end of the sala, of the living room. Just like I could overhear like certain things, but you know, I knew they were talking about me. So you came, dropped me home. He gave me a kiss on the forehead, and he gave me a kiss, and then I was just gonna walk away. And you're like, no, I'm not just gonna give you a kiss and let you walk away. Like, will you be my girlfriend? And then you remember what I did?
So cute. I don't.
I probably like, I was like, ah. I probably screamed in the car.
I
a
don't
little
think
bit.
you did, but okay.
Maybe I did it inside. I don't know. But yeah, no. So I was like super happy that made my night. But it was after midnight, so we counted for the 26th.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then now fast forward a few months, you know, it's like, so this was, we started dating December 26, 2019. Y'all know COVID exploded in like March of 2020 is when it like really blew up.
Yeah.
And everything shut down. Right? So, you know, now jump ahead to like, I want to say August of 2020. And so Alicia hits me with, I had actually signed up to go to a wedding expo, but it was supposed to take place like all the way back in April. And it got canceled because of COVID.
Yeah.
And so they just texted me saying that because it was canceled, they did this raffle for some prizes and stuff, and that I won. And I was like, no. This is a lie.
There is no way.
That's not a true story. Somebody's trying to scam you. So, you know, we talked and we decided, you know what, let's go claim these prizes. So we went to this hotel that this, you know, they were going to be giving the prizes away at. And we walk in, I go up to the front desk, and I'm like, I felt so stupid. And I walk up to this guy and I'm like, hey, we're here for this thing. And the guy was like, oh yeah, you're going to go down this hallway. And when you get here, you're going to make a left, and it's going to be all the way down at the end. And I'm like, okay. So we walk, and we're approaching the first room down the hallway. And I can't remember what song was playing, but it was one of those really popular, like Marcos Witt or Marco Barrientos or something like that. One of those old Spanish Christian songs. And I'm like, oh God, you are funny. So, you know, they had people at the door, and I'm like, hey, we're looking for this thing. And they tell me, oh no, it's actually down a few doors. So we go down and we walk into the room, and you know, we get the stuff, and I'm just like, wow,
Yeah.
this is real. She actually won this. So mind you, we told our parents that we were gonna go to this thing, and so my mom and sister were dying to know if it was real or not.
Yeah.
I don't think your mom cared as much.
No.
But my mom and sister were dying to know.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we leave this place. And,
I remember even, like, walking around the building because they gave us time to, like, think about it. Because it was, like, a few different things that we were given. And so they gave us time to think about it. Like, they were like, you know, you guys can go walk and talk and think about it for a moment and then come back. And, we were like, I told him, I said, we could split it 50-50. You know, you take some, I'll take some, and we break up and call it a day. Like, you take half the vacations, I'll take half the vacations, and call it a day. And I said, or we can get married.
yeah, because we had to use the vacation by like a certain date.
Yeah.
And then so, I knew we were going to get married, but I hadn't put a time on it yet. And
God knows.
yeah. And, so, but because we had to a certain date to use these trips by, we had to get married before then.
Mm-hmm.
So we could actually use them. And yeah, we talked about it and we're like, okay, we'll get married. So we decided to get, so our story is like backwards.
Super
Because
backwards.
we had a wedding date, like an actual wedding date.
Mm-hmm.
We were doing all the planning, right, and everything, and I hadn't even proposed to
This
Alicia
man,
yet.
Listen.
All right, so again, this was like in August.
Yeah.
And we legally got married April 3rd of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And then so, you know, fast forward through the months, and we're planning and doing all this stuff, and I have not yet proposed.
We're putting deposits on the venue, like.
It's really funny. Fellas, don't do this to your girl. Don't make her look crazy. I made Alicia look crazy. And it's really funny because every Monday for her job, you know, they'd have like a team meeting. And every Monday, they would ask her, so did he propose yet?
I don't have a ring yet, guys. I'm sorry.
And so, that last Monday, literally the last Monday before April 3rd, I can't remember what April 3rd fell on. That last Monday is when I proposed.
Yeah.
Right? So I literally engaged for, it wasn't even a week,
We weren't even engaged for a full week.
and we got married.
I want to say you proposed to me on a Wednesday. We got married on Saturday.
Nah, I did not propose on a Wednesday.
Was
I
it
proposed to you
Tuesday?
on a Monday.
Are you sure it was a
A
Monday?
positive.
Okay.
Because the weekend went by, and I texted your coworker,
Mm-hmm.
because we used to work for the same company. After we met, we both left the respective companies, and we went to work for a different company.
Mm-hmm.
Together, obviously in different parts. And so I texted your coworker, and I was like, "Hey, I need you to ask Alicia if I proposed over the weekend."
Terrible.
And her coworker was like, "But that's so mean. Like, I can't." And I'm like, "You are part of my plan right now, and I need you to bring her down." Right?
Because I was on this high horse of, like, I'm going to be able to figure out when you're going to propose to me because
Mhm.
you can't hide nothing.
Mm-hmm. So Alicia swore she saw my proposal coming,
I really did.
and she did not.
And I really did
She
not.
did not. And then so she was supposed to. The plan was she was gonna go meet my sister and my other friend, who was one of her bridesmaids, to plan the bachelorette party.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they're gonna meet at this restaurant by the beach, and stuff. And then so my sister talked her out into going onto the beach, and that's where I was. I had a blanket, rose petals, a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. It was beautiful.
And so, fortunately, there's like a mound, big mound of sand between the beach and the sidewalk, so you couldn't see. So Alicia had no idea until she actually got out onto the beach.
Mind you, I got stuck walking in my heels in that sand.
You took them off?
That was so embarrassing. I took them off when I got to you.
Oh, okay.
So the walk sucked. But anyways.
But yeah, so she did not see it coming. And yeah, so that like the way we got married was so
Unconventional?
yeah,
Different?
I would say it. Yeah, because we dated from December 26, 2019 until
April 2nd.
no, until like March 28th, 29th. And then we were engaged for like less than a week, and then we got married. But, yeah, I think that's kind of it.
Yeah.
There's a couple more details, that, like, when we started dating, the intentionality was that, hey, we want marriage, right? I mean, I knew it that first night.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were really intentional within the first month of knowing each other to really actively pray and seek God's blessing.
Yeah, His direction.
And direction confirmation for us to get married. And then so that came in 3 ways.
Yeah.
And with this, I think we'll wrap it up. We don't want to be too long. We just wanted to tell you guys our story, and so you guys know where we're coming from. And we'll expand more going on in the future, but we just want to introduce ourselves, really.
Yeah.
And but we got 3 confirmations, right? So one of them was for one big thing for Alicia was she always prayed that whoever she was gonna marry, that they got along with her parents.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That Bader would get along with my parents, and that his parents and my parents would like really get along. Yeah.
And they really did. We really did. And then so that gave Alicia peace. That was like one of the first things, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing was that, so we were at my church for a prayer service,
Mm-hmm.
and Alicia was praying, and she was kneeling down in the chair and stuff, and she was like, she told me this afterwards. She was like, God, if Pedro's the one, yeah, and we all do this. If this happens, right? So she really did it. If this happened, and it happened. And she was like, God, if Pedro's the one, then he'll come over and pray for me right now.
And this was like a 5 a.m. service because we were starting to go.
Oh, this was a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Was it? I think it was a Tuesday. Tuesday 5 a.m. prayer service. This was not like, no. But she lived like down the street from my church. Like less than 5 minutes from my church. So we were at that prayer service, and she was like, God, if Pedro's the one, then he'll come and pray for me. He'll put his arm around me. He'll pray for me right now. What happened?
Literally. I don't even think I finished getting the words out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And you were already there, like, praying for me. And I was like, oh, for real? It's like, all right, Jesus, say less.
Well, actually, I guess, so that's 4 things, because it was, the big thing for you was me getting along with your parents.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was that,
Mm-hmm.
right? That if this happens
Right.
type thing. The third thing was, there was a service that we were at my church again. And my mom was up front by the altar worshiping.
Yeah, it was one of those, it was the evening prayer service, or worship service.
Was it?
Yeah.
And so this one of the ladies in the church that moves in the prophetic, she goes to my mom, and she says, and she calls Alicia up and we were like,
mind you, they don't know me at that church.
They don't. You'd been there just a handful of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they knew who you were my girlfriend though. But anyway, so she goes to my mom, right, and she, microphone, on the microphone from the altar, like whole church hears and sees this, and she calls Alicia up, and she tells my mom, "This is your daughter." Right, so I was just like, okay.
Oh my god. I think I bawled my eyes out. Like, I didn't even know what to do with myself. I felt like part of me was like, trágame tierra, like, how embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But then at the same time, I was like, oh, I felt kind of like honored. I don't know. I love your mom so much. But I was like, oh my god, this is so embarrassing.
It was.
But yeah.
So, but like again, and this was all within like the first month of us meeting and dating and stuff. And again, we were actively asking God, to confirm.
Yeah.
And then, and all these 4 things are like in no particular order, because I can't remember what order they happened in.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest one for me was, so there was a Sunday that we were at your church at that time. Well, we go there now, but at that time it was just your church. So I went to church with you, and your pastor, one of the things he said in his preaching was, you keep praying to God to give you an answer to something that he's already answered. Yeah. Right? You keep asking God the same question, asking for an answer, and he's already given it to you. So right after that service, I went to God and I was like, my man, you said you've already answered. Man of God said you've already answered it. Where is the answer?
Yeah.
And so the next week, or maybe even during that same week, because I think we went to midweek service at my church that week. Yeah. I think it was a midweek service. And one of the, so anyway, I don't know if it was
I think it was that same week, yeah.
Oh, it was. We were at my church, and she, one of the ladies in my church comes up to me, and she goes, or us, actually, and she says, hey, God gave me a word for you a few weeks ago.
She did that.
A few weeks ago, but I was like hesitant to share it, which, it's always, it's good to be careful with when you feel God's pressing you to do something. Definitely test it, but always be obedient. Mm-hmm. And here's why you should always be obedient, because she says, he gave me this word a few weeks ago, which would have been when we started praying for an answer. And God says that, what did she say? This is the woman for you, or something. I can't remember how she said it.
Yeah, I can't remember word for word.
She confirmed that, Alicia and I were to get married. And I was like, so you did answer it. It just took a little bit to get through the telephone line. And so, yeah. So, we were real intentional about that when we first started dating. But I knew from the first night, like without a doubt.
It took me the first date. I had to vet him first, and then it turns out we have like a million friends in common, never crossed paths.
Yep. Some of her best friends were actually in my sister's quince, because they're best friends with my sister.
Right.
And so, real small world, and we never crossed paths. But that just goes to show that God's timing is perfect. We met each other when we were supposed to. Mm-hmm. And
we were very intentional, like you were saying, about seeking God. We constantly were doing Bible plans. Mm-hmm. Having
praying together.
Yeah, having time to pray together, having the hard, the hard conversations. I think we talked about sex still while we were dating. Things that like each other were not comfortable with. Because all that stuff I think is important to talk about while you're dating, especially when you're like close to marriage, right? So I don't think that conversation is necessary with, someone you're getting to know or someone you're interested in.
I was gonna say, yeah, definitely that's a conversation to be had. Probably after you're engaged.
Yeah.
Is when that should probably come up.
Maybe even before being engaged. I mean, you can call off an engagement, but
I would say for engagement though, because that's a higher level of commitment than just a relationship.
that makes sense.
But yeah.
It's important to have all of those, obviously not just sex, but all of the hard conversations.
How many kids you want? What's your thought about discipline and stuff and things like that? I was gonna say stuff and things, and it all got jumbled in my brain for a second. So I said,
I was like, what did you say?
I don't even know what I said.
Another thing that for me, it was important to make clear to him what my expectations were, right? It was important for me to tell you, like, hey, I don't believe in gender roles. Like, you can cook.
Although they are valid.
We don't do gender roles.
They're valid.
Not in our house. Not under the tree.
You see, we still don't agree.
Anyways, but he knows, like, you can cook as much as I can. You can clean as much as I can. And there are days when you don't feel like cleaning, and I'm not going to clean after you, or vice versa. So we just both kind of chill out until we're ready to clean. And
so those aren't the gender roles I'm talking about necessarily. I'm talking about more like, we don't have kids yet, but when it comes to parenting, like, I know that as the dad, I'm probably going to be the one that disciplines more.
Yeah.
And she's going to be the motherly one. It's okay, baby.
Even though our dog speaks differently right now.
Yeah, but a dog's a dog.
Yeah, but with our dog, you're the softie. And I'm the...
Well, yeah.
She doesn't like me.
She doesn't annoy me as much as she annoys you.
Oh yeah, she drives me up the wall. But anyways. Besides the fact.
So this was really just for you to get to know us, the Menas. Hear our story, how we started, and we're looking forward to seeing where this goes, and exploring different topics of relationships, and how you should care for them and treat them and grow them, and anything in between.
Navigate it, all of it.
Yeah.
If you have any topics that you'd like us to touch on, let us know in the comment section. We'll be happy to address it if we can, and if we can't, we bring somebody in.
Sounds like a plan.
I love you.
I love you too.
This is the response I get from him every day, though, by the way.
No, you get ditto.
Yeah, you're right. Anyways. Alright, guys, this is our time. Thanks so much for joining us. We're so happy to have you, and catch you at the next episode.
Peace.
Bye.